Yeah, I think you're right, Gates. He knows we're onto something here. Yeah. By the way, when we all froze up, I probably said the most brilliant thing I've said in my podcasting career. I can't even repeat it. That's how brilliant it was. But everybody missed it.
It's the way things go. Some things can only be said once.
Oh man, we're
I don't know, guys. This is scary. I just this isn't the Ken Holland of old.
all right. I think we're back. We should be back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, we're back
Uh,
and
Yep.
live
Adios.
everywhere. Everywhere we're live. Till we say something a little too close to the truth again, and they shut us down.
The
Jeez.
truth serum.
Nope.
Jeez, I raised my voice just a little bit and the Oilers just cut us right off.
That's right.
I mean, I wanted to say that Ken Holland wasn't the GM he used to be. I didn't think it would get us off the air, but
That's right. Oilers are.
it's like I look back at those days in Detroit, man, like he was so shrewd, right? Like the way he ran his cap and the way that he made everybody sign value deals, and he was a brash, confident, like I feel like everything
Recording
he
in
did was
progress.
just completely just impetuous and reckless.
You still go there, Mike, or did we lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm monitoring the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going, guys. I've got the recording. We might have to just we'll release it later as well, but hopefully we get back online here shortly. Let me see if
The scary thing for me, I think, is some of the things Holland said in his presser today after it was all said and done.
there we're back. I missed the presser. Maybe give us a little bit of a rundown.
Some of the things that he said were a little concerning for me. I think when Holland talked about still needing to bring in another left-handed defenseman, I think that's one of the comments he made. The other comment he made that I think was the most scary was I think our goaltending did just fine last year, which kind of leads back to what this was, that are they really willing to let it ride? And it looks like they are. Looks like they are willing to go with what they had last year. And, the fact that they had Sebastian Cossa queued up in the draft and didn't get him and turned away from Jesper Wallstead and not taking a goalie in that spot means that they must think they have the future in their system already. I don't know if Jeff Skinner or Stuart Skinner's that guy, but he certainly hasn't been stellar.
Well, there's more than
at this part in his
there's
career.
more than Jeff Skinner in the system, though.
Stuart Skinner, yeah. Sorry, I did that. But
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I just is
and
drafting
a goalie like the other day, the window on that, or the time frame on that is at that end of the 4 years, really.
Yeah, and that's fine, I guess. I just take you back to the last 20 years of Stanley Cup winners,
right?
And
right.
They don't win with free agent goalies,
so right? We've transitioned from a team that's or that phase in Oiler in oil country here where it's kind of wait and wait and wait. They pulled Ethan Bear out of the lineup to bring in a winger for now. They pulled, they sent Caleb Jones to Chicago to bring in a defenseman for this year and next year. So they've advanced the timeline here. And, if you draft a goalie that's 4 years from now, what was the point of all that other stuff? We've accelerated the timeline here. I still have real sneaking suspicion that there's a hunt for a goalie to take Mikko's place, and there's 2 months to get that done by the time the season starts. There's till the trade deadline to bring in another goalie for the playoffs. So you've got time to fix that. I think with what they can put on the ice in October right now, they're a playoff team. Are they going anywhere? I don't know.
So we've got
Dash.
We've got Shannon on watching on Facebook. She says, look at Smith's numbers last year. He was amongst the leaders. Plus, he's in the shape of a 25-year-old. Olivier Rodrigue is looking good also. And then talks about how he traded Dylan Wells so that he keeps Skinner in the minors instead of developing with Smith as his go-to guy. So that's Shannon via Facebook says that. So she clearly thinks Holland's in the right direction on terms of goaltending.
I mean, you want to look at Skinner's past. He was barely a 900 save percentage goalie in Lethbridge. He was good on a Swift Current team that won the WHL title when it was stacked, but career ECHL save percentage 902, career AHL save percentage 892, 879, career NHL save percentage 868. Those don't sound like save percentages that make you a blue chip goaltending prospect.
Oh, and Shannon's a he. Apologies to Shannon. I have a sister named Shannon, so
there's the default.
But I also know a couple Shannons.
Muscle memory.
That's right. So
yeah, I just think letting it ride with this. So Dirce, based on what you said earlier, are you trying to do you think the team is better now than it was when we started this?
Like I said, I it's status quo in net, so that hasn't changed. I think our left side is better right now than it was at the end of last year on both fronts, on the D and on the and up front on forward. But I think losing Adam Larson and replacing with Cody Ceci is it's going to be a challenge.
So is Cody Ceci that much worse than Larson?
Shut down D.
Mike, is Cody Ceci that
it's
much
a step
worse?
back.
Yeah. I mean, but
so,
like
how
far?
sure.
I would.
Played.
Yeah. I think you're dealing with a guy that is going to be having to might be in over his head in a second pairing role, and if that's kind of the assignment that they give him with Duncan Keith, I think Keith is going to have to compensate and play more of a defensive game than he's ever really had to play to offset a little bit of a slide from losing Adam Larson to Cody Ceci. I think it is a bit of a step back. There's size there. There's a similar kind of shutdown guy, but Adam was really good at that job, and he deserves credit for that. And losing him is going to be something that the team is going to feel. But I think our left side D is
Adam Larson
gotten a little bit better.
Paid
the right side
first line pairing for the last 4 to 5 years. And if you look at the last 4 to 5 years of Cody Ceci, he went from a top pairing defenseman in Ottawa to Pittsburgh. And, that top pairing he had in Toronto was with Tyson Barrie. So here we got Toronto's top pairing defense from 3 years ago now on our team.
Yeah.
And it didn't get them far. I don't think it's going to get us far. Ceci's minutes in Pittsburgh were heavily sheltered. If you go and look at the stats, he was, not in a lot of defensive zone draws. He was getting sheltered minutes on the PK as well. And I just think when you go and try and now stick him back up into a higher level, yeah, you're right. We're going to struggle in that second pairing, trying to put a third pairing D-man in there. especially when it's Keith who you needed support for, like Larson would have. Now, whether that can still happen, I'm not sure.
I think, Duncan Keith is going to have to learn to play a little bit different style than what he has his whole career in Chicago. I think he's going to have to learn to stay at home a little bit more and, even up for, if he was paired with Adam, I wouldn't have had a problem with those two on the ice at all. They would have compensated for each other like Barrie and Nurse do. I think Keith's skating will compensate for Ceci's a little bit slower foot speed. And I think Ceci's physicality will compensate for Keith's a little bit of wandering. I honestly work, but I would have been more comfortable with Keith with Adam Larson for sure.
I feel like this reeks of like the D core we had when Justin Schultz was here, and we were forcing him into minutes that he shouldn't have been because he's a first pairing defense. So I don't think there's any argument there after you're seventh on the Norris ballot. Barrie leads the league in points, but is a pretty heavy train wreck when it comes to defensive second pairing defenseman. So now we're already stretching a potential second into a first pairing with Barrie. And after that, in my opinion, we've got nothing but 5 6s and 7s. Bouchard right now, before he's fully developed, is a third pairing defenseman. Lageson's a third pairing defenseman. He's a third pairing defenseman. Ceci's a third pairing defenseman. Russell's a third pairing defenseman. I think, does it not feel like those days again?
I think Duncan Keith will be fine, if he's not playing 23 minutes a night. If you back that off to 17, 18 minutes a night, that's you're losing 10, 12 shifts a night, and that's going to fare well for somebody like him. Then you can focus on quality shifts rather than quantity.
But Nurse is the only guy that played over 20 minutes a game last year on average, right? Like, so what are we going to have a 22-minute, 23-minute a guy in Nurse?
Right.
Or we force him into 27, 28-minute range, and then we're overstretching him. And then we've got guys that are only, like, you want Keith to play 17 minutes, dude, but he's our second pairing defenseman. You can't have your second pairing defenseman play 17 minutes because Russell also needs to play 17 or less, and Bouchard needs to play 17 or less, and who's picking up the slack?
If you're playing Nurse 23 minutes, you're playing Keith around 17, you're at 40 minutes.
All right. So now Russell's
you're
going
to have to change it a little bit, but not that much. Well, I want to keep him around 17, 18. So maybe Nurse needs to play a little bit more. And maybe you're pushing Keith to that 18 and a half. But those extra, that's a different game. You can focus on quality shifts.
So what you're saying is you agree with me. This does feel like the years of Justin Schultz.
And honestly, some of those minutes are going to be power play time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Bird and Nurse are going to take the minutes.
Yeah. Well, Barrie for sure. He played 3.5 minutes last year. Nurse is going to get that. I'm not sure how much Bouchard can get. I mean, the fact that we went and signed Barrie just pushes Bouchard back down in his development because now we've got
it changes his power play time, I think, a little bit.
So, and I think on that powerful of a power play and that potent of a power play, Bouchard would have been just fine. I'm not sure Barrie gives you that many more points.
The reason why you deal Bear though is so that Bouchard does get his time. So he's not a press box guy. He's a player next year.
Yeah, I get that.
You can't run 3 offensive defensemen. That's
I know. On the right, trade the value contract at $2 million a year on the 24-year-old for a guy that's Tyson Barrie. Like it's terrible cap management. Keith was bad cap management. This Barrie for Bear swap is bad cap management. It's bad asset management.
Unless you're winning,
just feels like knee-jerk spending, man. In a time where management of cap space is absolutely essential.
There's something you guys aren't talking about though, too, right? This is, the GM will do trades and make a team quite often based on how the coach will play that team, right? And let's be honest, if Bear's in Edmonton, it doesn't matter how good he is or how much better he makes the team. Tippett doesn't trust those players, right? He trusts the Keiths of this world. He trusts the Barries of this world, rightly or wrongly. I mean, I'm still of the contention that this is a team that should be a perennial playoff with Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Nurse as your core. There, it's completely. If they don't make the playoffs, then you've completely screwed shit up, right? And so, you've got that core. Playoffs should be a no-brainer, right? Like, frankly, one of you two could coach the Oilers, and they should be able to make the playoffs. If I make it, maybe we go to the Cup. Who knows? But anyway, that's beside the point. I mean, this is the team. My biggest challenge when we're talking, when we're talking about this team, right? And so, Holland made the signings and the trades that Tippett's going to work with. So this is Tippett's team now. This is exactly what Tippett loves to coach. Right?
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. To be honest, I think you're probably right there. I think there was some of that consideration taken in, and obviously, any goaltender or any veteran coach is going to want that type of experience in front of you. I think what you described though is what's going to win a regular season and have us out in the first round again, though, Mike, because rounds and a decor with the size of Duncan Keith and Barrie and Russell and Bouchard isn't exactly rough and tumble. It's not what the Montreal Canadiens had. It's not what could push forward.
We did get bigger on D, though. We did gain size
with Ceci
and Keith. Keith's bigger than Jones and Bear.
If you like veterans, though, if you're like Tippett or you're veterans, like go out and sign a Corey Perry or a Pat Maroon, a guy like that actually makes a difference. Like go hard after Getzlaf. Like I'd rather see the money on Getzlaf than on Duncan Keith, right? You know what I mean? Like he was 4.5. I'm not 100% sure we were actually in on Getzlaf, but and the only reason I say that is all the rumors always say Oilers are in. We're in on everybody, right? Holland makes a call. We're in on it. Yeah. So anyway,
I saw that today that we were actually in on Getzlaf.
Yeah. Right.
Like you think we were legit
at $4.5 million. I'm glad they walked away.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the kind of guy we need, right? Like that's the kind of guy we don't need like experience. I mean, we need experience, but we need a guy that, frankly, should be Cassian, but isn't, right?
Dirsa and I joked today about seeing a line with Getzlaf, Archibald, and Cassian. Like, what a bunch of pricks those guys would be to play against.
Yeah, if Cassian's choosing to be a prick this year, right? Do you know what I mean? Like that's we need. If he's got the grit and the sandpaper ready. Then I love the guy. At $3 million, he's a steal. The guy's got enough talent to be a steal at $3 million, right? But he's got to get that shit-eating grin on his face and actually do something about it, right? And get pissed off, and do something. We need, it shouldn't be just Tkachuk that gets the guy riled up. It should be, seeing the other team's jersey that gets him riled up. We don't have that. We don't have a Perry or like. I hate Perry, but I want him on my team, right? Frankly, I hate Tkachuk as any Oilers fan is, and should. But would I take him on my team? You're damn right, I'd take him on my team. I'm a bigger Brady fan than Matthew fan, but Mark on Periscope says Cass will benefit from having fans back. I mean, what do you guys think of that?
Having Cassian in front of fans could be like a new free agent acquisition all over again. I mean, if he Zach that we all fell in love with, there's a player there. Although I think in Zach, some of those hits that he doled out left time, who knows, right? So yeah, that could be something. And as far as guys that you hate playing for Edmonton, that I'd love to see, there's a guy in Boston that would foot that bill too. And Getzlav at $3 million for 2 years would have worked for me any day of the week, because I know how much I hated him in that Anaheim series, and would have loved to have him with us going forward.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot more complacency in Kassian's game than there has been truculence recently. I've seen, my eye test has told me that I think there's been a decline in his, aggression since that contract signing, to be honest. And, maybe it's human nature to feel a little bit more comfortable and to, not want to go out and have to kill yourself to get that contract extension when you got a little bit of a cushy one. And I mentioned in a previous episode, Michael, that I'm a new dad, and I know Kassian had his second kid. I'm not going to go jump into something and get my head beat in if I don't have to anymore. And maybe there's just a little bit of hesitation in that game now because of the man he's become and because of the contract he has. I hope I'm wrong, and I would love to see the Wolverine stick those claws back out and shred through the Flames and everybody else. But I have my doubts. I hope the fans help. That would be awesome.
100%. I mean, and the fans should help a little bit, but same could be said for any team. They're going to help. They're going to help the other teams just as much as they'll help the Oilers, right? Yeah. Bloody hell! I think I lost you guys again. Still there?
Yeah.
Damn internet on the East Coast. It's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just cutting in and out a bit, but
peak times for your internet out there.
Everybody's
they haven't got the lines out here.
Everybody's
to the East Coast yet.
Using their internet at 1 a.m. in Halifax.
That's right. Yeah, 1 a.m. That's right. They call it a night out.
You're just yelling a signal out into the internet.
They haven't shipped the lines out here yet. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting to watch, everything unfold today. That's for sure. Because, I think this altered the blueprint and the strategy and the game plan. And it's been a bit of an adjustment instead of a let's go by the plan.
Well, that's dead air. I didn't even lose you guys. I saw you moving, but I
try to troubleshoot over there.
But,
I
heard a lot of dead air, but that wasn't. I wasn't trying to. I didn't lose internet at that time. I just lost the will to speak.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna. He's got a lot more work to do next year too, Dirce. I mean, you got Turris and Russell and Lucic and Sekharov coming off the books, but you got to re-sign Nurse and Archibald and Puljujarvi and Lagesson and McLeod, maybe Samorukov.
Right.
Like this now he's handing out cap space like it's candy, and we already have to sign Yamo, Feogele, and Benson and try and get a goalie and try and get a left-handed defenseman. In order to do that, you think we've got to trade 3 or 4 draft picks. So what are we going to have to do again the next year? We won't have any left.
Being an NHL GM is always a juggling act. And those that can do it the best are the best GMs.
Yeah, and do we have one of those GMs that can still juggle, man? I think he used to be that militant go-getting GM that could make it happen and, could really wheel and deal and have those relationships in the NHL to be able to, pull it off, if you will. But this is giving me doubt this offseason. I don't know if we still have that guy. Everything he does just to me is very aimless and frantic.
Yeah. There's part of me that thinks that that whole thing with Keith. And we even know right now. So
I could guess what you're alluding to, and if I was to guess, I would say maybe that he's retiring after 1 year instead of after 2, and if he does that, it frees up cap space in the second year, and then Chicago has to eat another million and a half from that.
Not even, Ken kind of earned a favor there.
Sure, let's hope so. Does that favor get us the Jones brothers back? That'd be cool.
No, I think that ship is sailed. That's over. As much as I love Amy and Caleb, and I'm sure Steph's a good guy too.
But what favor are you really going to get here? Like, can Chicago convince Corey Crawford to come out of retirement?
Are you bloody kidding me? Did we just literally lose everything?
I mean, I think
recording in progress.
I think it's sort of the opposite of the way, I don't think, I think GMs in the past in Edmonton had phones not really answered. I think Ken has a lot of contacts, and I think people listen to him talk. So I think he knows. I'm sure he knows that our goaltender, I think that's the area he's going to focus on. And, him saying he still is on the hunt for another left D. I think that's because Russell's going to be that utility guy, your seventh defenseman, and he wants to get somebody, you've got Nurse and Keith, somebody that can play, 65, 70 games a season and be fine in that spot and not be in over his head.
Can that still come from free agency, or does it have to come by a trade as well? They look at the left-handed D that are still out there.
I'm
Ryan
not sure.
Murray, Zdeno Chara, Merrill, Demers, Gustafson.
Chara.
Any of those guys better than Russell or Lagesson, or do we have to give up more assets? You know what I mean?
You imagine a left side of Nurse, Keith, and Chara.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be interesting for sure.
It'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Chara could maybe shelter Barrie a bit better, but
it's too bad Chara isn't a right-handed D, because then you could pair him and Keith and put him on your third pair. One's a shutdown guy, and one can get the puck out. So.
Heard Jordan name there again. Maybe he can be coming over there.
Back to the future, yeah.
But those aren't names that are exactly going to push the river. You know what I mean? Like, I still think there's got to be
right.
And in order to do that, I'd give up prime assets, grade A assets, to be able to do that. And so we're just mortgaging more and more and more.
All right, we keep losing connection tonight. Sorry, everybody.
Recording in progress.
If nothing changes, kind of on the back end there, come training camp, there is one left-handed, guy waiting in the wings that could show well and possibly start the season with the team. That's Broberg. He, a large portion of him that's thrown in the air, hoping that some of it lands.
Dude, you just described Ken. It's a risk. Hyman's a risk. Fogel's a risk based on what you gave up. Everything's been a risk. Like you can't put it on black. 17 rolls of the dice in a row and expect to win them all, man. Life's a risk. It's his cap management.
No, he's got to take risks. He's got to take some calculated risks, but it's risk. You're right. It's risk management. I mean, McDavid, something could happen to him. What happens to the franchise then?
So Shannon's.
If you worry about what if scenarios, you can die playing chess, but I think I'll risk it.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Just this wasn't what I expected. It's going to be.
I think there's
a bag of magic beans to get us back to where we need to be now.
I think there's risks that you take that are calculated, and then I think there's risks that you take that aren't so calculated.
Hey guys,
I don't think Zach Hyman, for the next to start in October is a risk. I think what you're getting there.
Can I make a suggestion?
Maybe there's a hope that there's a resurgence of Duncan Keith of old. And that's the risk there. But I don't even think they're thinking that. I don't think they, acquired him to be a first pairing left shot D for this team. I don't think that's the ask there at all. It's to put him in a spot where he can have success. I think they, evaluated that. If you were acquiring the, second or third year Duncan Keith into the NHL, you're not getting him at $5.5 million.
Can I make a suggestion, guys?
So, is it expensive? Yeah. Go ahead.
So we're having, as we know, some internet problems tonight. We keep cutting in and out. Why don't we? I think it's actually on my side tonight. It seems to be, maybe it's the weather out here in Halifax. It's a little bit windy out here. Who knows? In Holland. Why don't we move this to Twitter Spaces for the rest of the night, and then come next time, I'll have the. I'm gonna give a call to my local ISP and make sure the internet's up and running. I think you guys were running fine tonight, but this one unfortunately has been a little bit choppy, or choppy, whatever you want. Nobody probably heard that anyway. We've had good. A lot of people commenting on all the different channels and everything has been really success today. But I think if you, Dirsa, you want to start a Twitter Spaces, and if people want to join there and chat a little post draft, I'll join too. I'll do it on the mobile network. That way I'm not cutting in and out. Not that you know what. I'm always more brilliant when I cut out anyway, so.
all your best things are said when you're on mute, Michael.
Exactly.
I've learned that about you for sure.
Ultimately,
we've probably done enough damage here tonight. We're back on the air again tomorrow night, right? Like, I think we'll probably beat this horse a little bit and can rip off the scab and open up the wounds again tomorrow. See how that goes.
If we're in testing mode, Mike, maybe I'll just I'll Skype you both and we'll go on for just like 5 minutes and test out my end here.
Yeah, no, we don't need to test anything. I know for a fact it's on my end. I was having some problems earlier tonight, but I thought that
I just want to see it. I just want to see if this computer here can handle it.
Oh yeah. I definitely wasn't my side. So, but we can check that out. As for everybody else that's listening in right now, we'll probably stop the stream, I think, and then guys, you can stay on. So however you would like to end your show, end it off. I'll stop the stream.
Over to you, Dirce. Get pucks deep, buddy.
Yeah. As I always say to end a show, keep your sticks on the ice and keep reaching for the stars, and go Oilers go. Have a good night.